Hello and welcome to the United Stand. Manchester United out of the Champions League. People already again shouting Jose Mourinho out of my club. Not good enough. Not what we want to see at Manchester United. The reality is there will be a lot of people not very happy with that. But the reality is that I can see Manchester United players on the pitch looking dejected. Mourinho looking angry. The reality is Manchester United fans are not stupid. And over the two legs, I've got to be honest, I think 2-1 flattered us. I think Sevilla in the first leg should have come away 2 or 3-0 up, and De Gea kept us in it. But in the second leg, for the life of me, I cannot understand. You've got Mourinho doing a tactical job on Klopp 2.5 days ago, knowing all the risks about Liverpool and shutting them down. He played Sevilla 3 weeks ago. It was like he never knew anything about them. They did exactly in this game what they did in the first leg. They played us off the park in the midfield. They passed through our midfield, and that's how they got the first goal. And if Sevilla could finish, which sounds stupid when we've lost 2-1, but if Sevilla could finish, we could have been embarrassed in that. I mean, some people would say, actually, I'm glad we're not in the quarterfinals because a decent team in Europe, your Bayern Munich, your Real Madrid, your Barcelonas, your Man Cities, they would absolutely annihilate us. We give up so much possession. But the reality is as well, I'm talking reality because there needs to be a reality here. I can't even vent. I'm not even ranting. I can't rant because that is... There's nothing to come back on. We've deserved to lose that game of football. Scholesy said it at half time. In the last 16 of the Champions League, you cannot have tactics that are basically park the bus and hit long balls for knockdowns. We're Manchester United at Old Trafford. We should have rode our luck at Sevilla like we did and had a plan in the second half. We should have had a better plan. I mean, what... Mourinho, this is the one thing I'm going to say negative about Mourinho. And I've said it even for every week. I don't want Mourinho out. But what I'm fed up of it. I'm fed up of this now. Is the public begging of a player that is clearly not good enough. The whole fan base knows he shouldn't be in a Manchester United shirt. Marouane Fellaini should be kicked out of this club because his contract's up. We should not be begging him to sign a new contract. And tonight, in a massive game, bigger than Liverpool, he plays him and he just gets dominated by an ex-Stoke player, Steven Nzonzi, who Mourinho needs to realise, if he wants tall players, they've got to be able to play football as well. Being tall is not good enough. Fellaini's just a tall footballer. Nzonzi can actually pass the ball, run with the ball, dribble with the ball, and he's quick. And if that was what Mourinho wanted because he likes tall players, I'd come round to it. But that the whole performance is going to lay at Fellaini's door and Mourinho's because of that selection. Why was McTominay dropped? When we got Mourinho 2 years ago, I said he will always go for experience over youth. He's championed McTominay. Some people weren't sure about him, but it's worked. And then in the biggest game, he plays him against Liverpool. The biggest game, he drops him for Fellaini, who was atrocious. I know he had a shot, but he was atrocious, and he symbolises everything wrong with Manchester United with the long hoofball football. It was a bad tactical decision. But we mustn't forget, I don't think Lingard played very well. I don't think Sanchez played very well. I don't think Rashford played very well. I think Rashford was brilliant on Saturday on the left wing. We play him on the right wing. Sanchez was good at number 10 on the weekend. We play him back on the left wing where he's been atrocious. And Lingard, who's not a number 10 in the top level, can play on the right wing. We play him as number 10. So that was all messed up as well. It's like, why do we change our tactics and positions every single game? Why can't we have an identity? The last 15 minutes, you get Martial and Mata on, and although it's all over the place, I mean, the best thing is, Antonio Valencia is our captain. Last 15 minutes of the game, when we're 2-0 down and we need to go and win it, he takes him off. So that says everything about what Mourinho thinks about having a leader on the pitch. 2-0 down, we've got to go gung-ho and fight for it. He pulls the captain off. I mean, Eric Bay's the captain, isn't he? He kept us in that game far, far better than anybody else. But I just think there's so many things I want to bring out, but it's also very important that we start taking some of your calls because I know a lot of people are trying to call in, and that, 100%, that's what we want to do. So let's take the first one. Damien, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can, mate. How you doing? You all right?
Oh, there's just so much to talk about, Damien, but I really want to sort of grab hold of what the fans are thinking and get as many as we can do over the next hour. But just fly into it, mate. What are your thoughts? We've got super chats, we've got live comments, we've got calls. We'll get through them all. So what do you want to say?
Absolute joke. It's not the first time that Mourinho's got it wrong. He's done it before. When you're going into that round, the knockout rounds on the Champions League, you play your best 11. Who else doesn't do that? Even Barcelona and Real Madrid's do that. You're up against Seville, you're at home. If you can put Pogba and put Martial and those people on the bench when we know that Fellaini's just come back from an injury, they've just come back from an injury and they're better players than him. So why wouldn't you put them on the field? How does that make any, sorry, I'm going to swear, fucking sense? That is a joke. I do apologise to everyone if there's anyone young, but I'm absolutely fuming. That's an embarrassment. And I believe the manager should take the full blame on that. There's my rant. Sorry.
I forget the name, but when we were live an hour before with the team news talking about that, somebody said that exact point. How is it that Pogba only missed the Liverpool game because of a gash? He's on the bench today. Fellaini wasn't even fit last Thursday, and he's starting a game. At the very least, it should be McTominay. But why the hell? If Pogba's fit enough to be on the bench, he's fit enough to start. This is a massive game. And I think as well, I mean, the first half, give me your thoughts on that. But what I was stunned by is that we came out in the second half and played another 15 minutes with the same players and the same tactics, and the same thing happened that had happened for the previous game and a half against Sevilla. They dominated us. I don't understand why we didn't change. Why didn't we change it? What was in Mourinho's head tonight? Tactics.
Do you know what else is annoying as well? When we can go 2-0, 2 goals down, and then we start deciding to play that, oh, now we're going to try and attack. Why did it take for us to go 1-0, 2-0 down before we want to start putting some acceleration in the pedal to go and do what we knew we needed to do from the get-go? Win the game. How does that make any sense? But it's not the first time that's happened.
Look, I don't know where you are, Damien. I'm not Mourinho out, and I won't be Mourinho out. And I know there's a lot of people saying Mourinho out there, but I know what will happen. We're all very, very tense, and we're all very, very angry tonight. But this season will just peter out. We'll end up trying to win an FA Cup. We'll embarrassingly, you know what? I'm going to throw up if Man City win the Champions League. But we've got no right to throw up or have a say in it because we can't even get in the quarterfinals. So if City go and win the Champions League, that's on us because we can't even be asked to try and stop them because we can't get past Sevilla.
Think about that. Didn't even think about that. You just made me even want to throw up even more thinking about it. Oh my God.
Sevilla will get annihilated. Sevilla will get annihilated in the quarterfinals.
Oh yeah, I bet you Man City get them in the quarterfinal, knowing our luck, and annihilate them and show us what we should have done to them.
But over the 2 legs, they deserved it. I mean, am I wrong? They deserved it. 2-1, they probably should have had 6.
They did. But it just doesn't make any sense how we play this negative football. But what I've seen sparks of when Liverpool's a prime example. When we go and attack teams, we show that we can do it. So why don't we do that week in, week out? Why are we always sitting there playing like how we played for the first 60, 70, 80 minutes of that match before we realised that, you know what, we need to attack now? Why do we do that? We done it against Crystal Palace, 2 goals down. Why do we need to do that? Why are we doing this? We shouldn't be doing that. We should be burying those teams and then controlling the game. But we don't do it.
I mean, Damien, I mean, what was the tactic tonight? I've got an idea. What was his tactics for 70 minutes tonight? I mean, if I remember correctly, we needed to score tonight, and it looked to me like we thought we already had an away goal, and we were just defending.
Yeah. Me as well. That's what you would have thought. We was in control. Let me rest some players. We're not even fighting for anything in the Premiership. So that's where it just doesn't make any sense, and you know how I feel about Fellaini. Just get that contract, run down to 0, and let him go out the club. It's just annoying, and that's not personal attack onto him as a person.
No, it's the player, isn't it?
I don't know what it is where Mourinho and you're going to play him in a 2-man midfield as well. What are you thinking? What? But yet Pogba can't play in a 2-man midfield. Come on, this is a joke. It's embarrassing. I'm going to get laughed at for however long, for the rest of the week, maybe 2 weeks, maybe a month.
Well, the Liverpool result means nothing now. For all the gloating we did about Liverpool, it means nothing because they're in the Champions League. We're not going to win the Premier League because we beat Liverpool. We're going to finish second at best. And they are in the Champions League quarterfinals. So I'll tell you what, that weekend result, sod it. It means nothing. It meant nothing if we didn't win
you know what
tonight.
They're going to say? Pop the bus, double decker. All these things are being hearing.
It's embarrassing.
Exactly what
and we have to take it as fans. How much fans will take it, I don't know. Anyway, Damien, I've got to take some more calls, but thanks for opening up, pal.
No problem.
Cheers, mate.
See you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Let's get another caller on. Yeah, I think. Is that Xander?
Yeah, mate. How you doing, pal?
Oh, well, I'm not good. I was just saying there. The Liverpool result, I forfeit it. It means absolutely sod all. I loved it at the time. but it means nothing because they are in the Champions League of the quarterfinals and we're not. And we're not winning the league anyway. So the Liverpool result means absolutely sod all. And just for everybody who's making the super chats, we will go through them all. It's just at the moment, take some calls. They all get banked, so I will definitely take them. But give us your thoughts. Give us your thoughts, Sander.
Well, look, I probably know what you guys want to hear, and it's probably not the great fan channel content that you probably would want, pal. But I'm not necessarily fuming, angry. I'm just very disappointed. I'm hurt. I'll be honest with you, mate. I'm upset rather than angry, and that's just disappointment. I'm still Jose in. People can call me deluded. People can call me mental, a fake fan, this, that, and the other. But the first few seasons under Sir Alex, the greatest manager Manchester United has ever had, were pretty poor, and we've been getting better. How many times over the last few years have we been able to say this season has been better than the last? Not many, and we're getting better. Look, it was awful today. If you guys follow me on Twitter, you'll know I've been tweeting out. It was the worst, I think one of the worst performances of the season. Slow, boring, sideways, awful. Jose got it wrong. We can all admit that. But why does everyone, as soon as we lose, has to go Jose out? Stick with the man.
Do you know what it is? Do you know what it is, Xander? And I'm not Mourinho out, and as everybody knows, but you know what it is? Playing the devil's advocate, and actually not even the devil's advocate, I agree with it. The problem is that, as we said on Sunday, and as we've been saying for the last few weeks, there's no identity to this Manchester United side, and Manchester United are used to having an identity of attacking football, and we don't have an identity. And no matter how long Mourinho's here, he isn't going to change. We hoped he would. He's not going to change. It's the Mourinho way or no way, and every game he changes it. Liverpool, he changed it. Sevilla tonight, he changes it. You've got Rashford on the left, he's now on the right. You've got Sanchez at number 10, he's now on the left. You've got Lingard, who's a winger, now at number 10. You've got Fellaini playing as a CDM. It's always changing, and it's always pragmatic. And I think this is the problem. You can't lie from the fact that we're second instead of sixth last year. We're out of Champions League now. I think we needed to be minimum quarterfinals, but it's like Paul Scholes said at half time. Rio Ferdinand was saying it as well. The tactics are not Manchester United, and this is the problem. And this is why people would look at Manchester United and go, how can you be Mourinho out? You're making so much progress. It's because of, like Damien said, it's because what people were saying in the watch along. It's because even if we'd won that game tonight and Sevilla had kept missing all these chances, even if we'd won it 1-0, we knew tomorrow that all our rivals would be going, you're negative, you're boring, you're lucky. And I think United fans we know that. The football's not, it's becoming a problem. The football is becoming a problem, and that's why people are Mourinho out.
Jose's done it throughout his career. And I'm coming, just want to Skype in because I want to give you a slightly different side to probably what you're going to get a lot of. But Jose's done it throughout his career. He's been very pragmatic and it's brought him a lot of success. Whether that will work in modern day football, I don't know. But give him the 3 years he's actually been given. And if we're holding the title up at the end of the season next season, and people are going, you're lucky, you're boring, you're this. I'll be honest with you, mate, I don't care. If we're holding the title, that Premier League trophy at the end of next season, but we've done it in a slightly more boring and pragmatic way than the Manchester United way, I'll be honest, I don't care. Right, it's progression. I understand, mate. It's absolutely dreadful this evening. Fellaini, get rid of him. Ashley Young, not good enough, although he played well. Chris Smalling, I know you like him, but he's not Manchester United quality. I think McTominay should have played today. I don't like Sanchez as a transfer. I was buzzing when he came in, but all he's done is hindered the development of Martial and Rashford. He's not even been that good. He can't seem to find a fitted position. That's poor. Lukaku was good today, I thought. Look, there's a lot of negatives we can take, but we've got to try and get behind the team, move on, and show a bit of positivity. Look, it's difficult. I understand that, mate. And guys, if you guys disagree with me, I understand that. But you can beat yourself up about it, but I think we've just got to try and move on, understand it's poor, and we'll learn from it.
All right, mate. Thanks for calling.
Cheers, Mark. I'll speak to you soon, mate.
Ta-da. I'll take another call. It's you know what? I think the problem for me tonight is it's just the way we played. It's the way we approached that game. Sevilla are not a good team. Our bench was full of attacking talent that should have been on the pitch, and we played negative football, long ball football. You got Mata, Martial, Pogba, and even McTominay should have started. You got 4 players there who should have been on the pitch, and they spent 60, 70 minutes sat on the bench. and we were inflicted to Fellaini for 60 minutes, and I don't think Lingard was good. I think Sanchez has deserved to be subbed for a long time, and there just didn't seem to be any desire to change it, and that's left me very, very disappointed. Andrew, the floor's yours, pal.
Mark, I'm pretty sorry about that. I'm pretty fucking pissed, man. Sorry for the language, but how is it that we set up one way for a Liverpool game, and honestly, we did dominate Liverpool in that first half. Second half, yeah, they took all the possession, they took all of everything, but how is it that we are able to just ruin what we just did against Liverpool that fucking quick? This makes no sense to me, that we would send out a completely different lineup than what we did against Liverpool. Our team selection was horrible. I woke up about 30 minutes before the game, and I saw that Fellaini was in the lineup, and I was like, are you kidding me? This is bullcrap. Bullcrap. How are we going to let this happen? Jose's team selection is one of the most frustrating things about him. Jose was starting to win me back. He had 3 straight good results against Chelsea, against Liverpool, and even the Crystal Palace one, that wasn't a good result, but what a comeback. But this right here ruined it all. Ruined everything.
It is. I feel like this. I feel like the season's finished. I mean, all we can do is really win an FA Cup, and we won an FA Cup with Van Gaal. I'm just reading what Rio Ferdinand said there, and he said, Steven Nzonzi, he played for Stoke and Blackburn, and he's just come to Old Trafford, been man of the match, and he hasn't broken sweat. And he also mentioned what Xander had said as well. Sanchez, he's having a very negative impact on Manchester United because they're shoehorning him into a team because they think he's going to be world class, and it's impacted players that were playing particularly well before. Pogba and Martial's form has gone out the window for a new signing that's been a bit of a disaster so far.
Yeah, I don't understand what's going on. It's like we leave out people that have been players of the season for us, and then we continue to put in people that are not succeeding. Like even the Lingard selection in the team, I was okay with. He's been having good games throughout the season, but this is just it blows my mind that Sanchez is honestly he has the good game, he'll have a decent game, but he gives the ball away so much. And I was saying on the Talking Manchester United podcast that I think that Sanchez will be better for us next year, but this year is I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's that he doesn't have. He doesn't have that connection with everybody or what, but honestly, why is it that Martial is getting dropped, Pogba's getting dropped for people like Lingard and Fellaini? I don't understand it. Jose was winning me back. He really was. But this has made me get back to being on the Jose outside. And you can hear it from the Old Trafford crowd today, that they were the ones chanting, attack, attack, attack. You honestly, I think that as Manchester United fans, we care more about the style of football than actually getting wins. And you could hear it in the way that the crowd was reacting. And like you were saying, I can't wait to hear the fan cams because I think there's going to be some interesting ones today because that just was not good enough. The season's dead. Season's done. The FA Cup, if we win it, cool, whatever. But the season just basically has gone out the window for us.
Thanks for calling, Andrew. Really good points.
Thanks, Mark.
Cheers, pal. You know what? It's just the reality is we play conservative football under Jose Mourinho. It's pragmatic. It's looking at the opposition and playing a certain way. And in 2 legs against Sevilla, we played very conservative football. At Old Trafford, we played conservative football against a team that was knocked out by Leicester City last year over 2 legs. We played conservative football against Liverpool and everybody bought it because we can't stand Liverpool. And the second half we parked the bus and we bought it and we laughed about it because we beat Liverpool. It's a bit small club mentality. I said that on Saturday. I said that performance just reminded me of what Burnley and Stoke do when Liverpool come to town and you get 2-0 up and the second half you park the bus. It's not Manchester United, but we beat Liverpool, so it's fine. But tonight, you cannot do this. You can't do this. You can't keep doing this at Manchester United. You will lose interest from fans. You will lose interest from brands. We are not entertaining. We are conservative. We are negative. And I don't understand those tactics today. I don't understand how, for me, still the best manager in the world, when you look at what he's achieved in his career and he's still active as a manager, Mourinho's got the best career in the world. I don't understand how he thought, how are we going to win that game? I don't understand how we were winning that game. How did he not see we weren't going to win that game? How did he see? Why didn't he change it earlier? Why does he pick Fellaini? I mean, that surely, I've said this so many times, that's surely the end of Fellaini now. That's surely the end of him. You surely cannot pick him for Manchester United ever again. Ever again. Because he's just symbolic of that shambles. That absolute shambles tonight. I don't know. I do know, and I have got the subtitles up. So as soon as Jose Mourinho comes on, I'll let you know. We've got a caller on. Did I hear something?
How you doing, my friend?
Yeah, not bad. Who is that?
I'm Shane.
Hi, Shane, pal. Go on then, Shane. Give us your thoughts, mate.
Basically, I'm just calling to just talk about, Mark, for ages now, I feel like it's just been me and you, or maybe a few more people that's been Jose in, but he let us down today, man. Like,
I
Mark,
agree, yeah.
If I think of the worst Man United players, Ashley Young, Jesse Lingard, Mario Fellaini, Chris Smalling, and all of them start in our biggest game.
You look at
I
the
know you like
bench.
Chris Smalling, and then we have, every time it's like a quality player, it deals with all the quality players harshly. They have to play superb every week to stay in his team. But if you're a shit player, if you're average, yeah, Jose loves a shit player since he's been Man U. If you're shit, he adores you when you're shit. Just be a shit player. You can start every week. I've been saying this for ages. I always hear Jesse Lingard's a squad player. Fellaini's a squad player. But they start so much. How can you be a squad player and start so much? All the time. Every time since Ferguson left, if someone just has a good weekend or a good match of the day weekend, they just start. Can't we just have a first 11 like we used to have? There's a first 11. When you have a big game coming up and you need tactics, bring in Darren Fletcher, bring in Park Deshaun, bring in John O'Shea in the midfield in a big game. But we always had a first 11. We don't have a first 11 set of players. And our good players, they get treated so harshly. Like, Alexis Sanchez, I disagree with what some of the callers saying. It's not him. It's the rest of the team. Multiple times, he's looking for 1-2s, no 1-2s. He's passing the ball in behind for players to run, and no one's reading it. If you played football in your life, a lot of things Alexis Sanchez is doing, you know what he's trying to do. He should have been playing behind Lukaku, Marshall on the left, or Rashford or Matteo on the right, because Matteo links the player up well, and put Matomi and Matic in the middle if you want to be reserved. Why would you put Fellaini? It broke my Mark. To be honest, yeah, under Louis van Gaal, every time Fellaini was starting, I stopped watching the matches from like January, and today's the first time I did not want to watch the match today. And it's not everyone felt like that from seeing the team news. Lately, every time I see the team news, it just sucks my heart. What is wrong with Jose Mourinho? With this shit team news, like it makes me not want to watch the match.
The thing is,
fuming,
though, I mean,
man,
on
Sanchez,
Sanchez,
I love Jose Mourinho. I'm fuming.
On Sanchez, though, it's he's back on the left wing again, isn't he? That's the problem.
After having a 6.5, 7 out of 10, behind Lukaku, I thought he played at 6.5, 7 out of 10 against Liverpool. Effort. It was trying to drive us forward. It was losing the ball, but I expect creative play. This thing that people keep saying about Ronaldo lost the ball loads when he was 22, 20. I know Sanchez is not that young, but Ronaldo is not Ronaldo we see now. Like I remember, Overmars used to lose the ball loads for Arsenal when I was young. This is not a new. Robert Perez is not like used to keep the ball a lot. Creative players lose the ball. I'm not bothered about that. I'm bothered that his best position since I've seen him at Man U is behind Lukaku against Liverpool. So why would you do that and take our best players, which is Martial and Rashford, off the left? I feel like they've been brilliant this year. Martial could have had 20 goals by now if you've not took him out the team the last month. The guy, the last 3 to 4 months, he won 2 out of 4 months Player of the Month for December and January, but we just punished the kid. I'm starting to feel sorry for him.
I mean, you mentioned it at the start, being a Mourinho fan, which is something I've often said I am. I'm in total shock tonight.
Today's unforgivable, Mark. I'm not even going to lie.
It's
It's
the
unforgivable.
tactics. It's not Manchester United.
And
That's not
from the
Manchester United.
first minute, we're just lumping. If you want to lump the ball, why not lump it what Lukaku did against Liverpool? Why would he need two guys? And then Matic is 6'4", Pogba is 6'4". We have so many tall players, and still we have to play shitty Mario Fellaini. And I'm not gonna blame Jose. I'm blaming Man United fans that accept this bullshit all the time. Because all Fellaini has to do, Mark, to win Man United fans over, 70% of them, have a good game. Next week, Fellaini, if he scores 2 goals from an Ashley Young cross, oh, Young was lovely today. You see Fellaini? We do it all the time, so I blame us. Over the last 4 years, Mark, you've never been inconsistent of Fellaini. Man United fans, when they come to the shit players, they're inconsistent. All they have to do is to get back on the side is have a good match. And I'm consistent just like you. Fellaini is a shit football player. It's not called head ball. It's not called chest ball. It's called football. And all they say, but I get why, because we need that physicality in the air. You can't win headers. It's not physical. If you call fouling and elbowing people physical, then I can be physical because I've got 2 elbows. I can go on a pitch and elbow someone in the face like Fellaini. I'm just fuming, Mark, man. Because for years now, Mark, I've been watching your channel for years, and you've been so consistent on this shit guy. Every time I look at him, I think of David Moyes, but Man United fan, as soon as he has a good weekend, yeah, Fellaini he's a good bloke. I don't care if you're a good bloke. Joaquin was not a good bloke. He's probably a prick in real life, but I loved Joaquin on the pitch. I don't care if he's a nice bloke or not. Like, what kind of rubbish is this that we do now? If someone's a good bloke, if someone has a good weekend, you're just in the Man United team. Oh, I'm just fuming, man.
Thanks for calling in, mate. Good to get it off your chest, but I feel it. Thanks, pal.
Cheers, Mark.
Thank you. I'm just listening to that whilst also listening to what Jose Mourinho's got to say. And I think he's trying to play it down. You know, it's just one of those days. The first goal was always going to be important. It's tomorrow's another day, and Saturday's another match. And I'm really happy that every player is sad and they don't hide. It's something that pleases me because I feel exactly the same. But we have no time for dramas. Not good enough, is it? Not much of a reaction that from Mourinho. Not much of the sort of questions that you would want to be put to him. I mean, why are we not asking him, about his tactics? He's talking about it being a similar performance as to what it was against Liverpool. We didn't see. He's talking about us being aggressive. He's talking about us, giving the same sort of intensity. And he was pleased with the intensity. I don't think any Manchester United fan watching that game is going to be very happy with that at all. And I don't think if you were waiting to see Jose Mourinho's press conference, you really didn't learn anything from it other than no time for dramas, we move on. Well, I'm sorry, there is time for dramas, Jose. You picked that team today. A lot of people, myself included, put a lot of faith in you and stick up for you against the not tyrants, you're not tyrants, the tirade of abuse, the tirade of Mourinho out, which I don't agree with. And I don't think that's good enough to just come out and say, well, it's just one of those days. Because for me, it wasn't just one of those days. It was totally and utterly preventable. And the tactics are just wrong. You've got to stop. He's got to stop with this Fellaini obsession. He has to stop it. It is not Manchester United. I don't think Lingard's good enough in a game like this. I really don't. And I thought Sanchez should have been took off. I really do. Lots of things I would have changed. I'm trying to get another caller on at the moment. Who've we got? Who's that?
Oh yeah, you're right. It's Joe, Mark.
Hi, Joe. The floor's yours, mate. What do you want to talk about?
All right, I just want to performance. It's an absolute performance. Like, what was that again? So everybody knows, yeah. Pogba can't play two. Let me just talk about Pogba. Brings on Pogba and puts it two.
What's the point? What is the point? Like, you know what I mean? He plays him in the 3. He'll play a wicked game on the left. Okay, yeah. We'll drop him back in the 2 now. You can have. He plays good. It's Jose Mourinho now. My time. He plays in the 2. Whatever. Okay, team news from the start. Fellaini starting. Are you crazy? Are you crazy? Against a Spanish team. Against Spanish opposition. Fellaini and Matic. That is a disgrace. He can't drive forward with the ball. He can only pass sideways. When he shoots, it's a hit. He's got 0 to all he's good for. Lucky head out when it's crossed into the box or whatever. And you know what I mean?
I'm just closing Skype and reopening it again because we were losing Joe there, and we'll get somebody back on because it was breaking up a bit. But I've got my eye on so many things. I can see Paul Scholes has said that the talk of Fellaini, it's just not what Manchester United need. They have spent money. They need to spend a lot more money. There needs to be more desire. But you can't be at a football club at Manchester United and not show desire. And I think that's a lot of what Rio Ferdinand has said. Scholes said it. And they've got to be. You've got to. The thing is, the most fundamental thing in all this is there's got to be attacking football at Manchester United. There's got to be it. And I'm in a difficult situation because I'm not Mourinho out, and I know some of you are. But I can't defend that. I can't. I'm not going to lie to you. I can't defend that tonight. It's unacceptable. Unacceptable is pretty a damning word. I'm not going to swear. I'm not going to throw my toys out the pram because the reality is we'll beat Brighton at the weekend. We'll beat Swansea in the league. Then we've got this situation now with Man City where if they beat us, they will be crowned champions that day. Can this team really go and stop Man City doing that? And then that's another humiliation. Tonight's a humiliation. It is. And I feel mugged off because so happy with the Liverpool result on Saturday, and I flush it down the toilet. What does it mean? It doesn't mean anything now. Liverpool are in the Champions League quarterfinals and we're not. What if Liverpool go and win the Champions League? What if Man City go and win the Champions League? We're relying on other teams now. That's how small club mentality we are. We are relying on other teams to stop our rivals winning the Champions League when we should be the team doing it. And I did say it at the weekend, and I'll repeat it again. Very happy with the Liverpool result, but there was a large part of me that just felt we got 2 goals and we sat back like Burnley would if Liverpool come to town. It's just not good enough. Anyway, I want to take some of the live comments because they have been neglected a bit. Pogba did nothing, says Michael Richards. Well, you know what? Pogba and Martial have been destroyed by the Sanchez signing tactically. Giggs and Skolsin says Area Zero. Old Trafford has finally started to implode, says NVS Abhishek. It won't. I'll tell you what, if you think Mourinho's going to go out and you think it's going to turn into a bit of a SHIT storm, that's not going to happen because the next 2 games are winnable home games for United. We'll beat Brighton, we'll beat Swansea, and we'll get over this. But the momentum won't be allowed to grow. And the club have got no intention of getting rid of Mourinho, by the way. None. There's no scenario that Mourinho gets sacked in the summer. Even if we get knocked out of the FA Cup, we're still going to finish in the top 4. That will be enough to give him another season. So Mourinho's here next season no matter what. So I think it's more pertinent to show that, to look at how we improve. And I have to say, the most important thing is, and we're in the hands of Fellaini, let's not forget, he needs to leave the club and he's the one who's free to do it. Mourinho wants him to stay. He's desperate for him to stay. And Fellaini, who knows? But he has got to go. He has got to go. And I think even he won't be stupid enough to think that he can survive at United anymore because the fans have just had enough of it. And it's unfair on him as an individual, but it symbolises what we're all about. And I just think that if we played McTominay tonight, we probably wouldn't have got dominated in the midfield. And why are we relying on a 21-year-old as well? Why are we relying on from the youth system? Who else was ashamed to be a United fan tonight, says Roger Fedfirm. Mark, what do we do? I don't think Mourinho does anything. I said this on Friday. I said this on Sunday night after the Liverpool result. I said, he does what he wants to do. He doesn't care what we think as fans. He's not bothered. His whole career is based on that. He does what he thinks is right. He does it the Mourinho way, and that's the way he does it. He won't care what we say about Fellaini. He won't care what fans say about the attacking football. He won't be bothered by that. All he's bothered about is winning games and doing it his way. I don't think you can use the football's not good enough argument with Mourinho because he won't change it. He's not going to change it. He's been here for nearly 2 years now. We're still going into a home game against Sevilla, parking the bus and hitting the long ball. That's 18 months on. The results and everything like that, definite progress. The football, you never know what you're going to get with United. And today we parked the bus. We need the FA Cup, says I Guzzle Shrek Swamp. Looks like Frank de Boer is better than Mourinho, who would have won that. Karma Jose, says King K. Sack everybody and rebuild a new team, says Jicey Pam. De Gea will probably leave now, says Fantasy Gamer. Jose, just so you know, Leicester knocked them out last year at the same stage, says Samir. Yeah, I've already said it, mate. And he's past it, says Samuel Kumba. I don't know whether he's past it. He just plays enough. He plays a certain brand of football that I don't think fits with Manchester United. If you win every game, I think United fans would put up with it. But I said this, what did I say after the Liverpool game? I said, no matter what, even though he's won against Chelsea and Liverpool, the next bad result, everyone will jump on him because the results are okay, but underlying that, fans aren't happy with the style of football. So as soon as there's a bad result, they'll jump on him because they don't like the style of football. Mourinho is a caveman coach in the 20th century, said Jay Craig. Mourinho tactics were poor. He underestimated Sevilla. We kept playing long balls. Come on, Sevilla defenders are tall and athletic. Mata would have done better than Lingard, and Fellaini won't have started. I've got a lot of super chats to go through, and I will go through those. But I do want to get a few more calls as well, because obviously I know that people are not very happy. Fan cams will be incoming as well, which are going to be very, very interesting, of course, for everybody. I dread to think what people are going to say, to be honest. Dread to think, but the sad thing as well that another 2 games at least we won't have midweek in April. We're just going to have Premier League games where basically it's just going to be about second place and the FA Cup, which is obviously very, very disappointing. And I'm just getting into Skype. No, maybe not. Oh, Skype's decided not to work for me now, so let's come back to the live comments. Loads of comments still flying in. Remember, if you're new to the United Stand, please do subscribe to the channel. It's going to be an interesting few days on the United Stand, isn't it? We've got the tactics analysis show coming up for you tomorrow at 1 o'clock. We've got Flex's vlog from the game. That will be interesting, I suppose. We've got the fan cams coming up after this, player rating show. So loads and loads that happens on the United Stand. And the reality is that when it comes to a game like this, and there will be a lot of scrutiny on the club, on the players, certainly on Mourinho. I think Mourinho, if anybody saw it, Skype is open now. It's Skype Goldbridge, all one word. Skypers and have your say. Mourinho seems to want to brush it under the carpet. No time for dramas. We move on. I think it's. I just go back to what I said in the summer and what a lot of people said. What's the minimum expectation in the Champions League for Manchester United this season? And it had to be quarterfinals minimum. It had to be quarterfinals minimum, and we haven't achieved that. We've failed in the Champions League. It's very, very disappointing. I'm not defending Mourinho tonight. I'm just not going to overreact and say Mourinho out after one result, because I don't think you can do that. I really don't think you can do that. But I know a lot of you have not been sure about him for some time now, so I have to respect that as well. But I can't defend tonight. I don't understand for the life of me why we played in that certain way in a game of that magnitude. Why did we defend like that? Stephen, can you hear me?
Hi Mark, how you doing?
Not brilliant. Sort of very, very disappointed and very, very confused as to how we approached a game of football like that at Old Trafford.
Yeah, I just screamed into a pillow for half an hour, so I'm good. For me, the same feeling that you probably got when they scored, I got that exact same feeling when Fellaini, when I saw he was starting. My heart sank, and I got to my dad's house to watch the game, and I said, we're not going to win this game. I saw how he set up, and it was from that team, I think it was clear enough that we weren't going to win based on that starting lineup. That said, as you just indicated, Mourinho's not going anywhere. So I think, people can type into the chat, "Oh, Mourinho out," but it's not going to do anything. And it's he's whatever you think of him, he's around for the immediate time being. So whatever we say, it's not going to change that. And it's also important to remember that as United fans, Ferguson, his dynasty, what did his first couple of years look like? His first 2 or 3 years, he didn't win anything, and things weren't great.
I think
things could improve for Mourinho, but I just think there's a couple of just concerning signs. I think that there is something to be said that Jose might not know what to do to tackle the problem. He's got a very specific style, but in the last 2 to 3 years, the brand of football globally in the top teams has changed, and Jose just hasn't kept up with that. So, one, we might be looking at he doesn't know what to do, but I think we need to be concerned as fans that Pogba's playing so badly under him. Sanchez doesn't seem to have hit the ground running. Luke Shaw, isn't playing regularly, even though he's such a gifted left back, and all Man United fans know that. And if if he is unfit or not playing well, then surely Jose's the coach, and he should be bringing him through training in a way that's going to get him back and fit as quickly as possible. So I think it's just concerning signs that indicate it isn't going to change.
I think the problem is that it's been said many times tonight that that people are so confused about how we had that first leg with Sevilla where they dominated us, and then we let them do it at Old Trafford and never bothered to attack them. Played very defensively, very negatively, very conservatively, and this is 18 months into Mourinho's career as a Manchester United manager. He spent a lot of money. I still think, regardless of tonight's result, we needed to still spend more money because it's a bad squad that he inherited. But the most important thing is the football, and it is not good enough. And what worries me as somebody who backs Mourinho is the Luke Shaw not even on the bench. Darmian's there. Darmian's atrocious. Fellaini starting a game when he was literally fit last Thursday, dropping a kid who's been fantastic and is energetic and full of desire, which we lacked tonight. The bench has got Mata, Pogba and Martial on it, 3 of our better attackers. And then the 3 attackers he picks, Sanchez, Rashford and Lingard, he plays every single one of them in the wrong position. Sanchez on the left wing where he's been terrible, Rashford on the right wing when he's been brilliant on the left wing, and then Lingard at number 10, where apart from a little 3 or 4 games against mediocre opposition where he scored a couple of good goals, is not a number 10 at the top level. And he could have, even with them 3 players, Lingard on the right, Sanchez centrally, Rashford on the left, we're instantly better. And 99% of the Manchester United fans would do that, but our manager doesn't. 99% of our fans would not pick Fellaini, they'd pick McTominay. Our manager doesn't. And the thing is, somebody will say, "Oh, you're saying you know more than Mourinho, he's one of the best managers that's ever lived." Well, yes, he is one of the best managers that's ever lived, but don't tell me that McTominay wouldn't have been better than Fellaini, and switching those 3 players around wouldn't be better than the way he set it up. And that, for me, leaves a big question tonight as to why this manager that I feel is the right man for Manchester United is doing things that I don't think a conference manager would do.
I think someone could have put you in charge of Man United before tonight's game and said, go out of your way to irritate the Man United fans with your team selection and your tactics, and you would have struggled to do as good a job as Jose did tonight. Pretty much every choice he made was completely baffling. And to be honest, Mark, I think the whole we're in second thing is a bit of a I think it's like putting lipstick on a pig. It's kind of made things look better than it is. If we hadn't come back against Crystal Palace, which easily could have happened, and then dropped, maybe drawn another game, we'd be still fighting for top 4. I don't think it's all as even in the league. Yeah, we've had 3 wins on the trot, which is great, but I think that's kind of masked the fact that overall, I don't think we have improved as much as it looks like. Because you say 6th to 2nd and you think, oh yeah, that's great. But actually, you look at the type of football we're playing, I think it's slim margins, and that position in second is on a knife edge, and it could have easily slipped the other way, and it still might, and it still could. So it's hard to know. I don't think there's any merit in going on Jose out, because I don't think it's going to change anything.
No, he's not going anywhere. He won't. It's abundantly clear that he will be, if he wants to be, unless he decides to go to PSG in the summer. Which, the most embarrassing thing will be if Mourinho walks. But the club won't get rid of him. I'm pretty sure of that.
Yeah, but I think you're right, and I think he's our manager at the moment, and I don't want. This is a big channel. I think it'd be really easy for it to turn into those people on Arsenal Fan TV, going absolutely mental. And I understand it. I think Jose got it wrong tonight. He got it completely wrong. And every Man United fan out there can pretty much see why. That long ball to the right of the goal to get it to Fellaini, for him to head it down. It didn't work, and they were onto it from the first minute.
Thing is, even if it did work, that's the problem, isn't it? Even if I think it got to, it's about half an hour left to go, and there's people in the live comments on the watch along saying, even if we do get this goal that Mourinho's trying to force in, I'm going to still be sat there at the end saying, over the two legs, Sevilla are the better team. They deserve to win it. They've just been wasteful in front of goal. It's nothing to do with how well we've played. It's just really about trying to, it's a bit like Italy in the World Cups have gone by, where it's just, defend and then try and nick a goal. And, we didn't defend particularly well anyway, because Sevilla had so much of the ball. I think the style of football is the thing that's really, really got me tonight. And obviously there are people out there who don't really want Mourinho, but that's not me. But what I can't there's nothing I can say positive about tonight. Like you say, it was almost as if I can do absolutely everything to wind up United fans tonight, I'm going to do it. I'm picking Fellaini, I'm not picking them, I'm going to play long ball, and I'm going to park the bus. And it was like, I'm going to tick every single box to annoy United fans tonight. And that, I find that a bit odd, but it was a bit like that.
And I think having this channel to voice our frustration is great, but it's almost like Jose's putting us in a position where we either choose anger or apathy, and neither, as a passionate Man United supporter, you don't really want to be constantly angry, or you don't want to get to the point where you're just like, well, we're stuck with it. So it's hard to know what to do with the disappointment, and we're all feeling lower than a snake's belly tonight, because it was crap. It was crap, and the first 20 minutes there was no intent. At least with the Liverpool game, at least we did the second half thing first. Played expansive attacking football, got what we needed, and then, we shut up shop, but we got the result. Why not? It's beggars belief that you wouldn't take all that positivity and energy from that winning starting 11. It's common sense. You just put that same 11, that group, into this game, and I'm absolutely convinced we would have won it. And I think, it's not just putting Fellaini on; it's putting an unfit Fellaini on. We also saw what he looked like in the game on Saturday. Didn't look fit, and he still wasn't. McTominay should have been in that starting. He should have started. Pogba was atrocious, but the players do have a responsibility. Of course they do. They're on freaking £1 million a month, most of them. But at the same time, if a manager in any line of work isn't getting the best out of their team, questions are going to get asked. And unfortunately for Mourinho, he's in a position where he isn't improving the team as much as it. The fact that we're in second, I think, is irrelevant. I think, you can only hope now that we somehow managed to wangle the FA Cup. But yeah, it's disappointing, and I think we're just going to have to lick our wounds over the next couple of days and suck it up. There's nothing else for us to do.
Thanks for calling, Stephen. Really good points as usual.
All right, thanks, mate. Nice one.
Cheers, pal. Let's have a look what people are saying in the live comments. We'll take another call in a minute, but it's such a difficult one. It's such a difficult one because you can't. the difficulty is if you're new to the United Stand, click the subscribe button in the bottom right hand corner and get involved in the community and the chats that we have. We're live every night at 8 o'clock, live all the way through United games, live straight after a game with the call in. We've got fan cams coming up later. It's going to be so interesting to see what fans have got to say to Flex, because I imagine people were going to be far angrier because they're literally just going to come out of that ground furious. I would imagine they've spent good money going to it, and there's going to be a lot of fallout over the next few days. But the difficult thing I have is that we discussed this on Sunday night after a big result, after a big positive result against one of our biggest rivals in Liverpool, and we all agreed that, look, Mourinho's going to do it his way. He's not going to listen to Manchester United fans. He's going to do it his way. And then that's great when you win, but when you lose, knowing he's not going to get us playing good football, he's not going to change the way we play football, he's going to keep doing it his way. You know, this is a man who's begging Marouane Fellaini to stay, and United fans do not understand it. He's begging Marouane Fellaini to sign a new contract. When Fellaini was injured, he publicly said, I've said to Fellaini to sign the contract now because you never know how bad the injury might be. Like, effectively saying, if you're out for a year, sign the contract because then you're covered. It's like, it's baffling. It's absolutely baffling, some of the things that he does. But if somebody said to me, you know what, this result tonight will mean something because he's going to change. He's going to play far more attacking football. We're going to get some really decent players in, and we're going to play scintillating football. Then, you know, it would make it worthwhile. But I don't like saying what I'm about to say, but Sir Alex Ferguson would not have had Mata, Martial and Pogba on the bench tonight. Whether they were 50-50 fit or not, he would have started them because he knows that's what the crowd want to see. He knows that's how you win football games. But Mourinho, his 50-50 fit player that he risks is Fellaini because that's what he loves. Oh, I love the fact that he's got no first touch, he's got no passing range, but he's dirty and he's half decent in the air. That'll do me. And then, you know, Pogba, Martial, Mata, you can sit on the bench, and that's just against what a lot of fans want. And, you know, how important is fan opinion? Well, fans are the lifeblood of football. You know, whether it's Manchester United or anything, fans are the people who bring the money into football. That's basically what it is. So it is important, but I don't think it's important to Mourinho, and I don't think he's going anywhere unless he wants to. Martin, can you hear me?
I can, yes, pal.
How you doing? Give us your thoughts.
Shocking, just shocking. I mean, one thing I don't think anyone's picked up on yet with Fellaini is, think back to Saturday's game, another referee, he could have easily cost us 2 points in second place with that ridiculous challenge. Yeah. Another referee would have given that. So, you know, any other manager would have said, no, you've had your chance, you're not getting another one. So I don't know why he played that. I think the problem, as strange as it may seem, I think the biggest mistake United have made, and this is probably going to be controversial, is not getting Jose in after Sir Alex left. Yeah. If Jose had got the job in 2013, Fellaini, Blind, Darmian, rubbish like that would not have got within a million miles of the club.
No, I agree. I wanted him then, and I think that team he would have inherited he would have done well with it, because, to be honest, apart from Van Persie, United were quite a, you know, not conservative, but they were a very good team at grinding out results, which fits in with Mourinho.
Yeah, so I think the other problem is that obviously, I mean, you can't. Obviously, he's had a lot of money, but he's not got the. He hasn't got this. He still hasn't got the team. It's what I mean. Obviously, it's all hindsight now, but how much difference Perisic would have made? I think the season probably took a downturn when we went, ironically, given the Saturday, when we went to Anfield and parked the bus. Liverpool they'd had 3 or 4 bad results that were there for the taking. I think after just the losing the momentum during at Anfield just killed the season, because after that, obviously, we drew at Stoke, lost at Wolverhampton, lost at Huddersfield, then obviously the bad results over Christmas. So I think obviously sometimes you do have to pragmatism is okay, but I think sometimes you have to realise that sometimes you do have to go. You do have to take the handbrake off and go for it. But then again, even tonight, we still missed a few. I mean, Lukaku missed a couple of good chances over the two games, but it was just bad. I think they do need to. There is still a lot of Deadwood needs clearing out, and a lot a lot of signings in the summer that we do. I think we do need another midfielder. If this is going to be controversial again, but if De Gea is going to go to Madrid, I'd try and get Varane out of Madrid in return.
Played with Bay.
Pardon?
Playing with Bay.
Yeah, I would get Varane out. I don't know where. Hopefully De Gea will stay. But if he does go, I'd try and get either Varane or Cruz out of Real Madrid. I don't want Bale at United. He's too injury prone. One thing, not totally connected with United directly, but it could actually ironically help us win the FA Cup. I don't know. I haven't heard. I've not had this confirmed. But there's a lot of rumours going around on social media that Kane's out for the season and may even miss the World Cup. So obviously that's going to be a big help with the FA Cup, because barring the two teams being drawn, barring us meeting in the semi-final, it's going to be, I would put my mortgage on it being United and Tottenham in the final.
Yeah, well, we've got to salvage something, Martin, haven't we?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's looking like it will just be the FA Cup, because I think we've got top four sorted. But it's a disappointing thing on the 13th of March for your season just to be all about the FA Cup. But thanks for calling in, pal. Really good points as usual.
No worries. One quick last thing. I hope I'm wrong, but somebody asked me the nightmare question the other day. What would I do if it was Liverpool v City in the Champions League final?
Oh God, yeah.
Hopefully that doesn't happen.
No, I'm hoping Real Madrid or Barcelona or Bayern Munich are better than those two, because as fans, it's like tonight, isn't it? We suffer as fans. But ultimately, the club has let itself down. Well, the players and the manager have let themselves down. And if City go on and win it, well, we can't complain because we can't even get to the quarterfinals.
Yeah, fair play to them. All right, cheers, pal.
All right, thanks, Martin. Great call. Just having a quick look around on Twitter and stuff there as well. I mean, where do we go from here is what a lot of the things we'll be talking about over the next few days on the United stand, and just hopefully we go and try and play some more expansive football. The reality is, though, and I hate to say this, the reality is, and the fan cams are going to be very interesting when they come in. The fan cams are going to be really interesting when they come in, because these are the people who apparently at the weekend were booing when Fellaini came on for Rashford, and they were, and Old Trafford was empty. Old Trafford was empty at the end of that game with 2 minutes to go. That is pretty indicative of what fans are feeling at the moment. They're angry and they ain't happy, and we need to have a good look at that and understand why this is going on at the club. But there's quite a few super chats I need to go through, so I'm just going to read through some of them. Thanks to everyone who's made these contributions. 100% the manager's fault, says Genocide 1996. Yes, Sanchez didn't play well, but it's up to the manager to get the best out of the players. Fifth Mellow Music, that was what happens when Fellaini and Matic in the midfield, too slow and giving too much space and time. Mourinho in. Broski R says he was trying to grind out a 1-0 win. No intention of winning more than 1-0. You can say bye to De Gea. Tired of his grinding results bullshit. Jack Subramanian says, well, imagine the amount of abuse Mew is getting now due to the comments about the managers. Maybe Jose will learn something, but probably not, says Charles. Gungshi, it's 100% Mourinho's fault tonight, and I'm sick of this spineless play for a draw approach to football. Disgusted. Jacob Heximer, no excuses for that. We only tried to attack for 15 minutes and 180 minutes of football. Awful long ball defensive tactics, home and away, ridiculous. No intensity, no flair, absolutely shameful, disgraceful. Why did we sit back? Subs did nothing because they had no time. This rests on Jose. Says Ethan Crane. Matthew McFadden, Pogba plays world class when he wants, but shame he only wants to do it against pub teams every 2 months. Sports Story, playing Fellaini to get fans backfired. Interesting. I did say when the team news came in, masses of United fans unhappy with Fellaini. I said, let's wait till full time. Got a funny feeling this will backfire, but maybe he'll score and the contract will be signed on the pitch. It backfired. It's 3 a.m. in India. I can't believe I stayed up, says Sabatashi. Jack Carr, thanks for the contribution. Dowd Skills, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. He chose Fellaini, I'm done, sorry. Could have handled the City match, but we've not improved since November. And Craig McCullough, Games HD, shocking now. We got to stay second in the BPL now to get back in the Champions League. Michael Garcia, I'm disgusted on the performance, not on the players, but on the tactics. Jose is a damn joke. This is not the first time Jose has done this. Why are we still pointing fingers? It's the manager's fault. Here's the kicker today. Brilliant showing. Fellaini will be handed a year contract and City will win the Champions League, says Jay Wood. Hayder Hammond, answer Hayder on Skype before I start work in Australia. Sorry for that, Hayder. Ethan Crane, I'm still Jose in, but things have to change or he has to go. I really wanted him to do well, but it's killing me to see this. Snake Doctor, disgraceful. All this money spent on attacking players and he's parking the bus. We bought Sanchez for a small country and we've gone backwards. I'm going to recall where I am on those super chats and we'll pick up the rest of them at the start of the tactics analysis show, which is going to be tomorrow at 1 p.m. UK time. Because there's been quite a few, and I don't want to just keep whizzing through them like that when so many people have made a contribution. Shahid Mia says to Mark, how is it Fellaini's fault he wasn't on the pitch when we conceded? Is it a fair point? I think the selection of Fellaini is more... well, it's never Fellaini's fault. It's never Fellaini's fault that he gets picked for Manchester United. Let's be honest. We can dislike the player and the way he plays, but we can't blame it on Fellaini that he gets picked. He shouldn't be picked. But I think more importantly, and what Scholes and Ferdinand and Gerrard and a lot of fans are saying, it's not blaming him for the result. It's blaming the fact that he's even on the pitch because he's not good enough. And it's the way we played in that game, isn't it? Simple as. I'm over this. See you tomorrow, guys, says Matthew McFadden. I think everyone's trying to get sleep and stuff like that. But what I want to say is, when I was logging through there to read some of the super chats, we've got the first fan cam, so I'm just going to go and make sure that it's got a proper thumbnail, and that will be up for you in the next 5 minutes. So if you want to go and get yourself a cup of tea and get ready for the fan cams coming in, we've got the first fan cam coming in from Flex. That's going to be going up in 5 minutes time. If you are new to the United Stand, please do subscribe. Bottom right hand corner, get involved. Make sure you click your bell and get your notifications on. Fan cams are going to start coming in from the next 5 minutes. Very, very quick tonight to get those up for you. Player ratings I'll do at some point as well, and also tomorrow I'm live at 1 p.m. UK time talking about the tactics in this game and giving it a proper 24 hours sort of look at. So join me live for that. We'll go through some of the rest of the super chats, but all I can do, and I did this under Van Gaal a lot, and it doesn't really mean anything, but just apologies. I'm not Manchester United. I'm not Manchester United's manager, but I just always feel sorry for the fans on nights like this, because I think any of us would be gutted if we'd lost that game in a 5-goal thriller. But to not turn up and to play those sort of tactics, it's just not what we're all about at Manchester United. And hopefully we'll get there. Hopefully we'll get there. A lot of people talking about the class of '92. I've always been against it. I think it's a bit romancy, a bit unrealistic. But we need to get some desire and we need to get some attacking football back into the club, don't we? I'd have Roy Keane back. Thanks everyone anyway for joining us. Remember the United Stand, keep getting involved. I think it's going to be an interesting few days on the United Stand. We're live at 8 o'clock tomorrow night if you're at work tomorrow for the 1 p.m. show. But I'm going to get to work on the fan cams now and start getting them up for you. So keep your eye out. Probably give it 10 minutes and we'll have the first one up. Thanks for watching. I'll speak to you soon.